Boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, you know there's just 74 days until Christmas 2024. And we've got Peanut back here behind us to talk about Star Wars today. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. And of course, the thoughts are still with our friends in Florida. I reached out to several of my friends there, and the folks I know are doing well and did not suffer too much interruption. We've got one of our friends is in the hurricane response team, working there to help folks. We've got other folks who are trying to work through and in healthcare and things like that. So it's certainly a busy time, and they've got a long road ahead to clean up some of the mess. But fortunately, our friends here did quite well. So good to see you all. Good to see you all. We were going to cover several topics. I wasn't with you last week, so there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about, and then we'll get into the main topic, which is now a week old, but it's one that I didn't get to talk about last week, so I thought I'd be doing it today. And is Disney Star Wars good? You've all seen the article. You've seen the YouTube things about it. Well, I'll give you my perspective, and I think we can take a little different look at it. And I'll try my best to be not just with my own opinion here, but look at it overall. I thought the article did a pretty good job of trying to balance things, but I thought maybe we would go through, and I got a little different way to do it today. It'll be familiar, but new. Hello, Matt Risman. Matt Risman, one of our Floridians, or as my daughter said, we went to Florida when she was young, and we told her that people living in Florida were Floridians, and she goes, "That's not right." They said, "Where does they're not Florida, it's Florida. It can't be Floridians because it's not Florida, right?" So you're being silly. She calls Floridans Floridians. We were having fun. So good to see you, Matt. Thanks for being here. Imperial Activity. Hello. Good to see you. Jedi Mike has been here. Good to see you as well. A good friend of the channel over there in California. And Star Wars Fits. Hey, it's Kieran's weekend has already started. Good to see you as well. Yeah, the thumbnail looks like a tier list. That's what we're going to do. But I put a little bit of a twist in it. So there we go. Yeah, we got some first responders down there in Florida. RF Gaming Channel. Good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. Griff. Hello, Griff. I don't remember seeing you before, but maybe I'm just old. Right? Thank you for being here. Said hi to Jedi Mike. I know somebody else is up here. There's Dale, Skywalker's Academy. Good to see you as well, my friend. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. And you guys, we have all the socials, Facebook, Twitter. I've got an active Discord where we talk about all kinds of different topics, not just Star Wars, but we'll talk about DC and we'll talk about Marvel and Lord of the Rings, all kinds of nerdy stuff out there. Come join us on Discord. You can find it in the description here. Or if in the stream chat, you put !Discord, it'll give you the link to find our Discord. That's a great way to interact with us, as we don't have any new Star Wars shows to talk about right at the moment. We have all kinds of other things we can discuss. It's a pretty good community, and it's good to have stuff to talk about when we don't have Star Wars to talk about. And so join us there. Also, Patreon, if you would like to support us to help us do what we do here, you could do that with just $1 a month, and as low as $1 a month. We have several tiers of support where you can help support the channel and more financial ways. But Patreon is the number1 way to help this channel. For as little as $1 a month, we have a whole lot of content on there, more than 100 videos that are not available anywhere else, that are available there. Plus, you have this opportunity for $1 for Patreon super chat. You can put a comment or question in there. If it's appropriate, we will address it on stream. And that's $1 a month, not $1 question, $1 a month. You can put that in there. Baymax says, good morning from Oz. It's 3 a.m. here. Oh my goodness. I think last I heard, Baymax, you were headed to Australia. Is that what you call Oz? Australia? Is that it? 3 a.m. In Australia. Oh my goodness. So let's see. KG. I see KG there. And here's my friend. I reached out to Vanessa the other day. Vanessa is a really cool person. I got to meet her when we went down to Florida, and got to meet her boys. She has 2 amazing adult boys that are salt of the earth. Like, if you wanted to meet some of the best young men you could possibly meet, Vanessa's boys, they're great. They're pretty cool guys. Vanessa, she's working there in the front lines on the hurricane response. Good to see you here, Vanessa. And yes, the Ping one is a pretty good show. I've been enjoying it. Really have. So thank you all for being here. And I'm just going to kind of power through a few topics, and then we'll get to the main one. The first one has to do with Outlaws. Outlaws, the video game. Sales have been slow. And I've been watching the progress of Outlaws over the last couple of weeks, and particularly follow Azatru. You've seen Azatru over on Making Star Wars, but Azatru is a gamer. He reviews all kinds of video games. He's got a video game channel, and he is keeping up with all the updates for Outlaws. And Azatru brings up a point that Star Wars video game sales typically do quite well through the holiday seasons. So we'll pick up leading into Thanksgiving through Christmas. It's a good time when a lot of your gamers have some time off school, right? Those preteen, teen kids who are in school. When it comes to Thanksgiving, and they get a little break, and then at Christmas break, there'll be some more sales. So it's not like a video game that's going to see its peak and then it'll just be on a constant decline, but it has never gotten really high. It is on the decline, but expect it to kind of pop up a little bit during the holiday seasons. That being said, oh my goodness, I don't think Outlaws is going to recoup its investment cost. Those games cost millions and millions of dollars to make. Between the development, the marketing, and rollout, they are in quite a hole, and they need to make up money on those sales. And I've been watching Asatru, and they have been releasing all kinds of updates to the game. This is somewhat normal in gaming, that they come out, they've got some bugs, they've got some issues, and it will take some time to work all those out. But they're already addressing those things, improving those things, and I encourage you, follow Asatru's channel to stay informed on that. And if you're in our Discord, I have been posting his videos there as well. So Outlaws, I think it's going to be a loss for the developers, but hopefully they're able to recoup a good bit of that. And you guys, I know there's all kind of controversy around Outlaws, right? I know there's all kinds of things in the cultural side of our society around the world that have issues with some of the decisions and some of the non-gameplay aspects, as well as things that were done during the development that affect some of the visual aspects of the game, including who the lead character is in the game and things like that. And I know that investing millions of dollars in a Star Wars game and losing money will only lead to less Star Wars games getting made. You may say, hey, Santa, that's the point. We don't like what they're doing. We like them to make something that is more appealing to the Star Wars fan base, something that would not only support the traditional gamer community, but also draw in people some excitement around the content itself. So I get it, and I think one of the issues is, are you okay with less? And what if you never get any more? Are you okay with that? You'd rather have none than something like Outlaws? Is Outlaws so bad that it's not, you'd rather just go ahead and pull the cord? That's it. No more Star Wars games. Because, you know, investors, they have money to put into something. They're going to choose. If they put their money in one place and it returns some revenue, they put it in a different place and it loses them or doesn't grow their investment, they're not going to put it there. So we've got to watch that. And maybe these studios, maybe these developing companies can learn to put their customers first. You know, I think that's a really big point, and it's going to come up again as we go through the discussion. But if you remember who your customers are, you service your customers, and you make your customers happy. You've established your brand, and you talk just general marketing. Look, I'm not in marketing. I'm a developer, right? I'm a programmer. I write Oracle PL SQL code and things like that. So I'm not in marketing, but I'm an old guy and I've been around. And in general rule is customer retention costs less than customer acquisition. So if you have a customer base, it costs you less to retain those customers than it does to replace them. Best to keep them happy and then build your base from there. So maybe they could do that. Yeah, customer service equals fan service. Maybe to some degree that's true, but you really need to be in touch with that base. Astromech Jeremy, There's my friend. Good to see you. Oh, good to see you, Astromech Jeremy says. But Santa, you're talking about the playlist generation where everything is personalized version of exactly what we want. You're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong, Jeremy. And Jeremy's in the entertainment business. He understands trying to get an audience to buy tickets to come see your product, if you want to put it that way. Yeah, you've got to reach that audience. And we understand that that audience may be changing, right? May be difficult to get. So you really, really got to be working to retain and grow. So hopefully the gaming community is able to do that. Got a few more topics I want to get through. The next one is the Acolyte budget. And Acolyte has been railed against. It's been praised. It's all over the board amongst the fandom. I'd say the largest portion of the fandom has been largely negative on the Acolyte as a series, but there is a core out there that love the Acolyte and are still petitioning for more support, who are trying to get anybody they can to hear them that they loved it. But at the end of the day, whether you loved it or hated it, it comes back down to this investment strategy, right? You spend a bunch of money, you need to make a bunch of money. And the Acolyte certainly spent a bunch of money, didn't it? Yes. Acolyte spent a bunch of money. And did it make a lot of money? Whether you loved it or hated it, that's not germane to what we're talking about. Had more people loved it, maybe more word of mouth would have gotten more support for it. But it never garnered that. And its viewership never reached to the heights where it makes sense from a budget perspective. And I think Star Wars has had a problem with this. Not only Star Wars, but I think a number of other studios have let their budgets kind of balloon out of scope. And then you lead yourself into a position where you need to make so much at the box office, or you need to retain so many consumers on your streaming service that it becomes financially unstable, right? So we need to be careful, and they need to do something to control these budgets. Acolyte, I think, is a glaring example. There's another example, and it's Solo, right? Solo's budget was too big. It kind of doubled because of reshoots and have to bring in another director to kind of clean things up. Yeah, there's Peanut. Yeah. So it costs a lot more, and they ended up losing money on it, right? So at the end of the day, Solo lost money because its budget ballooned out of shape, and then they couldn't recoup it through the box office. And box office is a whole nother part of it, but they set themselves up to need a higher box office than they got, and it just didn't make it. So it's something that I think Hollywood, as we say, just, in general, Hollywood needs to address. These ballooning budgets that are just out of control set you up to fail. And Meg, my friend Star Wars Meg, did a video about Dave Filoni being involved, and he was involved to some degree. Remember, he went out on the press junkets and he was doing interviews with Leslie Headland. They released a video about the show before it came out. And we have to remember that Dave Filoni was involved during the entire production. He wasn't a writer on it. He wasn't in the writer's room, but as the chief creative officer, he certainly signed off on a number of things. So go catch Star Wars Meg's video that she did yesterday. She did a really nice breakdown of it. The thumbnail is a little clickbaity, but that's what you got to do in this game. And Meg does it beautifully. She's a wonderful content creator, and I think she addressed it fairly well overall. The next, Ahsoka Season 2. Our friend Bespin Bulletin, friend of the channel, Bespin Bulletin, a fantastic source for Star Wars news, released Ahsoka Season 2 will be filming next year. It's not really new news. It was more of an update to what we already knew. So we'll catch up more on that as it comes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. It's just good to see an update on it. And it ties together this whole Filoni thing, right? Filoni, Sabersmith says, I don't think Filoni was the problem. I don't think he was either. But I also enjoyed the Acolyte more than a lot of you all did, just to be fair, right? So it's hard for me to be too critical, but at the same time, acknowledge that a lot of fandom had a lot of issues with it. But so Filoni's been working on Ahsoka Season 2. And, he's got another movie after this that he's going to be doing. It's supposed to be the culmination of all these other projects. We've got the Favreau movie, and we've got the Mandoverse, all the shows, including perhaps even the Skeleton Crew that's coming up. We've got Ahsoka Season 2, Mandalorian, all coming together, perhaps even a Boba Fett in the culmination movie. All of this coming together into kind of a head in Filoni's movie a few years down the road. So, do we trust Filoni to do a good Ahsoka Season 2? Not everybody is in agreement that Ahsoka Season 1 was good. Is any of Filoni's writing any good? That's a question some fans are asking. And there's some disagreement. We know Dave Filoni studied and mentored with George Lucas, and he has a strong following. He's got a good connection to George Lucas in what George's original vision for this universe is and was. But can he write? That's the question. And depending on how you've received some of his work, depends how you answer that question. So for me, I'm good. And Meg in her video covered it. She still trusts Dave as well. And so does Jeremy. Look, and as Baymax said, Jodie Turner-Smith came out guns a-blazing. Actors. Hold on. Actors have a lot of issues on social media, right? Many actors are not in the mainstream publicly when it comes to how they deal social justice issues, right? And some people are further on the edge than others. And there are other people. Yeah, Jeremy, I absolutely want to address this point because you are 100% correct. But Jodie, she had some negative social media interactions, and she had something to say that the studios aren't protecting their actors well enough. And again, I think Meg addressed this really well this week. It is absolutely happening. If anybody thinks, well, I'll say it differently. There is no question whatsoever that there are bad actors involved in social media. We have all kinds of things going on out there, from election interference with other countries, putting bots into these social media platforms to kind of influence things, fake stories, right? Fake news, all of those things are going on. And you also have just terrible humans, right? Terrible humans that have a voice and they can express it online. Some of these terrible humans hide under the cover of not being a terrible human. And maybe some of them aren't even terrible humans, except they get online and they say things behind a keyboard that they would never say in person. They're decent humans. They're decent people, absolutely wonderful family members. But when they get behind a keyboard, sometimes they say things that are terrible, absolutely terrible. And you can't deny that that happens. It's a truth. And Jody encountered some of that, I believe, 100%. How do you stop it? I don't think you can. And as somebody who has an acting career, a public facing personality, they have to know that that comes with the territory, and to some degree have a little thicker skin when it comes to some of these comments. But she's not wrong either, that these studios, and some of the studios are trying to put like social media managers in front of their talent to help ward off some of this. Warding off some of it's not going to stop all of it, and it's going to happen. That's not to say that Star Wars fans are terrible people. I'm saying that there are terrible people out there who are attacking things that we love, attacking actors who are involved in this franchise. They may or may not be Star Wars fans, but let's not conflate that, right? Star Wars fans, from what I've seen, we've got fantastic people out there with a whole diverse backgrounds. We all come from different walks of life. We all have different views and perspective on things in a social justice and politics. I'm very different than most of you, and that's fine. But we get along well because we're decent people. Social media tends to bring out the worst of the worst. And I've been guilty of getting angry and typing things that are a little more aggressive than I should. I think we all probably have had that to some degree, where you wish you could pull back that email you sent or that message you sent, right? That's not an excuse. We need to do better as people to interact with one another, right? Kay's right. Bad apples in every bunch. Don't let it affect how you view apples, right? There are good apples. And let's try to encourage more of that. Jeremy's 100% right. If Lucas was a ghost writer, director, producer, right, people would still find a way to bash his stuff. And Jeremy, I'll go one step further and say, even if he weren't a ghostwriter, let's say that George Lucas was still writing, directing, and producing Star Wars. Live action movies, specials, whatever. If he was still on the front of it, he still owned Lucasfilm and was producing his versions of Star Wars. I am 100% sure. There is not a doubt in my body, right? There's not an ounce of my substantial weight that believes that he would not, right? He would 100% be bashed for his content. There's no question. There's absolutely no question. It's truth. So very well put. Are we going to get us Kenobi season 2? Would you want a Kenobi season 2? I'm going to say no, and probably no. I saw some of the interviews that were out there. Hello, Daryl the Derelict. Good to see you. I saw some interviews, and Ian McGregor did, and Ewan McGregor. Always say it IAN, Ian, but it's EW, right? Ewan McGregor. I always pronounce it wrong, but that being the case, he said, yeah, he would love to see it, and a lot of fans cheered and hooped and hollered. And I just say, hey, be cautious. What if Kenobi season 2 is Kenobi season 1 redo, right? Or part 2, right? Kenobi season 1 part 2, where maybe we're following up on what happened to Reva, and Kenobi is working with Reva out there, right? What if some of the work, the story continues to fracture your headcanon, or maybe some of the expanded universe content, the stuff that's out there in Legends that was so well supported? What if that came out and it was like Kenobi season 1, but just the next part of that story. You might get burned, right? Be careful what you ask for. If you liked Kenobi season 1 and you would like a Kenobi season 2, that's probably more realistic. If you did not like Kenobi season 1 and you want a Kenobi season 2 that meets what you thought Kenobi season 1 was going to be, careful what you ask for. Oh, be careful. It might not be what you want. I saw a couple of other comments. Internet's going to internet, right? Got to rise above the noise. Never going to work blasting legit criticism with name calling. You're 100% right, Baymax. Legitimate criticism is fine, right? And it's good. It's something that helps make things better. I always looked at it, and when I was in teaching or training, some of the criticisms I got were far, far more useful to make me a better teacher, a better instructor than the praise, right? When I would get praises, said, "Oh, Brian is the best trainer that I've ever had. Brian is my favorite teacher. Brian just made this topic come alive." That was great. It feels good to get those comments. But sometimes I get comments that say, "Oh, he spent too much time talking about this and he lost my attention." Or I couldn't track what he was saying for whatever reason. That would make me look at my content, my subject matter, and try to do better. So legitimate criticism is fantastic. I view it as, even with my job now, when people look at my code and say, "Brian, why did you do it this way? Couldn't you have done it this way?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't think about doing it that way. Tell me more." And I'll try to learn. I'll try to become a better programmer, right? Could Joby Harold not could Joby Harold not write it? Get Gilroy to write it. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Griff, I'm not sure how season 2 of Kenobi would work without them further retconning, right? I'd say no, but they could make it work. Yeah, they could. All right. We got hey, Brent, good to see you checking in. And Brent, it reminds me, we'll probably have our monthly Star Wars Santa Zoom call on this coming Monday. Every month we get together and we have a Zoom call. We talk about things. We just hang out and we visit. And that's going to be probably this coming Monday. If you're one of our YouTube members or a patron member, patron, you will get a link to join that call and hang out with us. So look for that. I haven't set the time yet, Brent. It'll probably be about the normal time, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, something like that. We'll see. I haven't planned it exactly out yet. Could there be a Kenobi season 2? Yeah, there could be. Never say never. But my bet right now is that people wouldn't like it, right? Because the people who didn't like season 1 would not like season 2. That's my point. If you didn't like season 1, you probably wouldn't like season 2, right? Jeremy, Kenobi season 2, but as a made-for-streaming film, utilizing what's beloved in Legends, and ties into what Yoda says in Return of the Sith, like what he said to Qui-Gon, "How to commune with him I will." Force Ghost training. Yeah, Jeremy, I think a lot of us would enjoy that. I'm wondering how much casual fans, the movie watchers, but not the folks who like follow the detailed plots of, a throwaway line or one minor line that we maybe see more major, right? Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Right, that's said in Darth Plagueis gets in the movies. He gets one line of dialogue, and it's more to say it's a story that the Jedi wouldn't tell you, and he unlocked the secrets to stopping death. Right. And then look what that's done to the fandom. All through the sequels, they're like, oh, I bet you it's Darth Plagueis. It's Darth Plagueis is the bad guy. It's going to be Darth Plagueis. But you know that guy? That guy, he's Darth Plagueis. And every show that's come out ever since, whenever there's somebody, they're like, no, that's going to be Darth Plagueis. And then we get a show with Darth Plagueis, and they're like, fan service sucked. People, you know, what are you going to do? Maybe it had to do more with the show than it did with him. But anyhow, yeah, probably not going to be the larger audience that follows that. And what might the next animated series be? Saw a video go around. I think my friend Karen, Star Wars Fits, shared it. The next animated show, will it follow the Bad Batch? Will it? And then there's two questions. I was talking to Karen. We had a phone call this week, and on Discord, and the question is, if we were to pick up right after the Bad Batch, a lot of people were saying, well, we'd like a clone series where we get to follow, you know, the clones fighting back against the Empire, and learn what happened to Cody and other clones. If that's the next animated series, maybe something that Omega would show up in, or some of the Batch would show up in, but more focused on clones. Or maybe it's something that's focused on Vader, because this is Vader's heyday. You could do something that like coincides with that comic series run, the Vader comic series run, and focuses on Vader, but has encounters from time to time with different clone or former clone, well, they're still clones, but right? Maybe they would run into different characters from time to time, like Rex or a sister, as Baymax put, or even Reva, right? There could be a series, an animated series, where Vader is like, maybe that's the name of the animated series, like Vader. And then we would see the clones that are fighting back, possibly, right? That time era has been beat to death, but Star Wars fans still clamor for it, still want more. Let's get more, always more. I want more, but I know I shouldn't, right? That kind of thing. Boy, don't know. Baymax, they'd have to drop Reva, as she wasn't much like character. Her action figures are boxes deep in ollie. Yeah, but that in itself would create issues, right? Going back to her surviving Vader saber. I'm just laying the foundation, Baymax, right? It's more likely in a Kenobi season 2, you would get Reva than you would get the EU story that you want. Right? I'm just trying to set that expectation. It's more likely you get Reva than what it is in your head you want, right? Brent says, no, Kenobi asked Reva to watch after Luke while he departs Tatooine to seek Maul, right? Right. You can end up with all kinds of stuff like that. I'd love to see more Omega now that she's older. I would too, Fitz. I would too. Next story. Is Disney Star Wars good? So this is what I wanted to get to. And I've gone long to get to here, but boy, I'm anxious to talk about it. There we go. So let's see. We got some more comments. Hold on. Tales of Bounty Hunters, please. Yes, and anything with Dr. Aphra. Oh, Jedi Mike. Where's Dr. Aphra gonna? Is she ever gonna make it into? Is she ever gonna make it into animated or live action? You know, we've theorized, but maybe not. We'll see. I would love it. I would absolutely love to see Dr. Aphra brought in. And for folks who don't know who she is, she's a bit of a antiquities hunter. Think Indiana Jones for Star Wars, as a lesbian woman. So there you go. That's who Dr. Aphra is. But she's a pretty cool character, right? All right. Hey, let's get into this. Yes, a big sip of Mio before getting into this next section. That's right. Yeah, Chillmonger. I'm surprised Dr. Aphra hasn't happened yet. You know, Chillmonger, I can't help myself, right? I got to bring this up. She checks all the boxes that a lot of these social media folks want, right? Lesbian, woman, person of, a minority, all of those kind of things that they love. But she also is a popular character. She was built as a standalone character. She's not as Chillmonger often brings up. She's not like a switch out, right? You don't take an established character, switch them out for a minority character to run a popular line, or to run a line of shows or a movie, only to switch them back to the popular character that they were founded as, right? This swapping characters for minority representation doesn't really work, and it causes a lot of animosity. But when you establish a character that's a good character, that is a minority, and they are a compelling character with a compelling story, then you've satisfied what you're really after, right? An adult Omega meeting up with Nora Wexley. The path and all of that. That would be great. That would be great. All right, let's get back here. I want to talk about this. And let's see. I'm going to actually, let's see how I can do this. So swap it this way. So swap it that way. Which way is the best way? How about down here? I'll do it like this. How about that? Yeah. No. All right. We've got all these movies and TV shows, and we're going to go through here. And I set this up, right? This is the tier maker. You've all seen this before, but I set it up 1 being lowest, 10 being highest, right? So we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, down to not ranked, right? So we'll start here, and we're just going to work our way through these shows and movies. We're going to start with the George Lucas era of Star Wars, and we'll start here with A New Hope. A New Hope, to me, is 100% a 10 out of 10. Let's see if I can get this to come on, scroll up. It won't just go. So I'll just drag it up this way. 10 out of 10. A New Hope was groundbreaking. A New Hope, pew pew. Yeah. A New Hope completely changed the industry when it comes to sci-fi fantasy. When you get to pew pew, yeah, we got some laser fire behind me here. We changed everything. That opening sequence, the movie was absolutely industry changing, and it filled theaters. Lines and lines of people to get in theaters for a year or better. That movie was just record breaking in any way you can think of it, right? Star Wars dog. There's a possibility I'll make a little appearance over on Star Wars Dog's channel on Saturday. We'll see. All right. Yeah. Laser fire. Pew pew. Yeah. You're back there firing behind me. I gotta watch your 6. So I put New Hope as a 10 out of 10. Absolutely the best. Best tier, strongest tier, right? Brent says today is my 41st birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Brent. Very good. Pew pew. Give Brent a pew pew, Peanut. Silence. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. Dog saying I've called for Ohio State to win it. I hope so. Boy, I hope so. It's going to be a great game Saturday night. Next movie. Let's take The Empire Strikes Back. Personally, my favorite. And something about Empire Strikes Back is that it has one of the biggest lines that has broke the culture zeitgeist for decades, right? No, I am your father. No, that's impossible. Right? One of the best reveals of any movie ever. My personal favorite movie of all time. Whether it's your first or your second or third best movie, I don't think there's any arguing that Empire Strikes Back is a 10 out of 10. Like, absolutely fantastic movie. Back in the day, it got a little bit of criticism, but and you can go find those, but it is aged extremely well, and it has yeah 10 out of 10, best of all time. Jedi Mike says 11, right? Oh, an 11. Yeah. So no questions there. Return of the Jedi. Now, this is the first movie in Star Wars that I was really aware of any kind of controversy around. I was there during, I was 10 years old at A New Hope. All right. By the time Return of the Jedi come out, I was in my mid-teens, and Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks became very controversial, right? There was a bit of grouchiness amongst a good portion of the the fan base that said, "Look, we called them little carpet bears, right? Because their fur doesn't even look like fur; it looks like carpet from the 70s that you took off the floor to replace with, new carpet, and you were going to toss it in the bin out back, and they made suits out of it. It looked bad, right? It looked like these little it didn't look real at all. They were terrible. And then they're destroying ATSTs with logs. What? Just ridiculous, right? That whole indoor thing, ridiculous. And boy, I'm glad that we didn't have the internet back then. That would have been crazy, because George Lucas then come out and said, like, well, those Ewoks in the rebellion, that's like the Viet Cong from the Vietnam War. Oh, George, like, you made it worse, right? But the one thing George did is he made a compelling movie, and the way that it ends, with Luke and Vader defeating the Emperor, just absolutely fantastic. The Death Star 2 was also a bit of a controversy. It's like, wait, another? We already beat. But back in the day, that's the first awareness I had amongst Star Wars fans of anybody saying this is weird, right? Yeah, Baymax says anyone of over 8 at the time hated the Ewoks. Anyone 8 or younger loved them. There's data on that. You're not wrong. My first year as a Santa Claus, a dad was bringing his son through, and his son was dressed up like an Ewok. Yeah. Oh, Ewoks are loved. So I'm going to put Return of the Jedi as a 10 out of 10, because for me, I still loved it. There was a lot of things. Yeah, Death Star 2 still better than Death Star 3. You're not wrong, Chillmonger. If you don't know about Death Star 3, go look it up. It's a thing. George Lucas said it was canon. So there's a third Death Star. George Lucas said was canon. Yeah, deal with that. All right, let's get to the next ones. We have the holiday special. Pew pew. Yeah, still laser fire back there. The holiday special. Boy, this one here. That's another whole ball of wax. 80s sitcom kind of TV special with a Star Wars coding on it. You had like a B. Arthur kind of, stir, whip. Yeah, the whole thing. And of course, it's something that George Lucas tried to get rid of after the fact. The holiday special. You gotta be in the right kind of mindset, right? Brent, love that holiday special, 1978. And then Matt, still better than Acolyte. Matt Risman. No. I just say no. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Holiday special. Some of the cringiest, just terrible stuff. They were like watching TV, like just weird. Not good. Not good, my friends. I give it a 1. Holiday special, 1 out of 10. It would get a -1 if possible, but it's not canon either. But so I give it a 1. Next, Caravan of Courage. This is a fun movie. Again, it was a TV special, TV movie, made for TV movie. And when you keep that in mind, made for TV movie, it's got all of the made for TV kind of things that you expect something to have, right? Pew pew. You're still back there firing off. Okay. Caravan of Courage also got some weird stuff in it. I don't think it's good. Now, here's the problem. It came out my junior/senior year of high school. I was right in that 17, 18-year-old age bracket, 1984, 1985. Like, well, it's for its time as a made-for-TV movie, it's all right. But that's all I can say is that it's all right. Like, meh. It doesn't really scream Star Wars to you. There's very little of it that seems Star Wars-ish. Unless you really, really love those Ewoks, which I already talked about. So I think 6 is about as generous as I can be with that. And I know blurgs come from these movies. oh my goodness. But that's the way it is. The Battle for Endor. Here's our blurgs. You got one even in the thumbnail. The Battle for Endor. Another weird movie. Ewoks, Battle for Endor. You can see these on Disney Plus now. You got a stop motion blurg in there. Absolutely fantastic. First introduction to blurgs. I love my blurgs. But also, you get a blaster shooting like it's a phaser, like a Star Trek. Like they don't get the Star Wars right in the Star Wars. I'm going to give it a 6 as well. It's the best I can do. That's the best I can do. That's it. Droids, animated series. Now, again, these came out in my senior year of high school. Yowza. Yeah, Baymax says, I love those Ewok movies, but there are 3 or 4 tops, and that's being generous. You might talk me to take it down. The Droids animated series. Again, I was 15, 16, no, I was like 17, 18 years old. It was 84, 85. These came out. I graduated high school in 1985 at 17 years old. So I was in that age range. And Droids is terrible. You can go watch it. It's bad. It's bad. It's back in the day where you had like Super Friends. Animated series on Saturday morning. Saturday morning cartoons were my favorite, right? Saturday morning cartoons. That's what I live for. I get up Saturday morning and watch. I was get my bowl of cereal, sit and watch my cartoons. And Super Friends, absolutely terrible. Terrible. Droids, terrible. Not good. But there was an age where they thought that dumb was good, and they're very dumb. They're very bad. Ewoks goes right there with them. Not good. These cartoons were Baymax says Droids cartoon was unwatchable for me as a kid. They're unwatchable now. They're terrible. Like even in the day, Not good. Baymax says Ewoks cartoon was better. Okay, I'll bump it ahead of Droids right there. How about that? Both of them bad. I like these in that order. So I was gonna drag these down a notch. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna drag them down to 5. Matt says, "What's with the Super Friends hate? That's not good. That's what you can't tell me that the Wonder Twins activate is good. Wonder Twin powers activate. Not good." Peanut's got things to say. Not good. Not good. It wasn't. What I wanted was made for late teens, early 20s, kind of like what you get with the Clone Wars animated series or with the Bad Batch animated series, where it's in your franchise that you love and it's good story writing. It's good content. It's canon building. It's all that. Super Friends was not. And I used to rail against it back then. Plastic Man. You got to be kidding me. Plastic Man? In the opening of that, the opening of the Super Friends, when it's or the when the opening, you see Plastic Man turn into a bowling ball and reach out an arm, put into the finger hole, pick himself up with nothing underneath. He can't fly. How? Oh, so bad. No, you're wrong. Wonder Twins, not cool. No, not good. Not cool. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I was not good for Santa. All right, so Droids, bad. All right, next up. We get the Phantom Menace. All right, so Star Wars is back. It's huge. It's something that we've been waiting for forever. Super excited for the Phantom Menace. I ended up buying this movie in multiple formats. I bought it in special edition. I bought it in a collector's box. I bought it like over and over again. This movie was so excited to get Star Wars back. I love Star Wars my entire life, but boy, it's not without its problems. And I defended the Phantom Menace for the longest time. Defended like it's not as bad as you think. And the older I get, the worse it gets. I don't care for the jokes that George Lucas put in it. I didn't care, and I've mentioned this before, I didn't care for the Three Stooges stuff in it. I didn't care for a lot of it. Just didn't, as I've aged, it didn't fare well. However, that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's got some of the best Star Wars of all the Star Wars in it. It's got the Darth Maul fight sequence. Ooh, that's good stuff. Duel of the Fates. Man, that's good stuff. Some of the best Star Wars of all the Star Wars. Loved it. So I am going to put Phantom Menace up there at a 9 out of 10. I can't give it a 10. It's still got some issues, but 9 out of 10 is the best I can do for that. Nick, hello. Good to see you. Attack of the Clones. If you followed me, you know Attack of the Clones. Yowza. The wheels came off for me. A lot of this movie is just bad. Cringe. It's Baymax says Phantom Menace 8 for him. Oh, that's not bad. Attack of the Clones. Whoa. Attack of the Clones is just above Caravan of Courage, kind of bad for me. Like there's very little in that movie to like. It's hard for me. It's hard for me now even to go back and rewatch it. When I watch Attack of the Clones, it makes me mad again. Like people defending Attack of the Clones. And I know my friend Star Wars Meg's a huge fan of Attack of the Clones. Boy, it's a tough one for me. It is really tough. The best I can do is a 6. Right? The wheels came off for Star Wars for me. I still have a bitter taste for it. I still do not like this movie. So Attack of the Clones, 6 for me. Right? I know the younger generation that grew up with Star Wars likes it, but for Santa, not that good. Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith makes me mad too. It's got some better parts. You can't, the duel at the end, great. I hate the fanning thing where they just twirl the lightsabers at each other. It's dumb, right? There's the part where Padme dies in childbirth. Terrible. So much of that movie, bad. It's treason then, right? I know, Matt. I know. Look, what can I do? Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. Oh, Lord. This movie, it's got so much that I hate. But boy, it's a lot better than Attack of the Clones. A lot better. So I'm going to bump it up all the way to an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. Right? It says the end helped get over the first half. Yeah. There's bits of Attack of the Clones I really where I missed. Bits of Attack of the Clones I really don't like, but the whole arena battle at the end redeems it some. Maybe. Flourishing. The word you're looking for is flourishing. Yeah. Flourishing. So dumb. So dumb. Look, and I've seen people defend it. I've watched Star Wars Theory on this. I've watched a lot of things on it. It's dumb. It looks dumb. It is dumb. It's terrible. That's not it. That's not it, my friends. Not it. Best I could do is give Revenge of the Sith an 8. That's it. That's the best I can do. I can't do more. All right. Clone Wars. This is the original Clone Wars movies that came out. I liked them. I was excited to get more of them, but you know what? They bombed. People didn't watch them. And I think, again, I just had my Star Wars glasses on, and I was thinking, oh, it's Star Wars. I love it. Star Wars. I want to go see it. And this is another one I bought, and then I was collecting it on DVD and Blu-ray, and then it just went nowhere. In fact, it went so far nowhere that they just rebooted the whole thing. So Clone Wars, I'll put it above Attack of the Clones, but it didn't go anywhere. If you go back and rewatch it now, there's still some things that don't really fit with what we know as canon now. So we kind of deal with that, right? To see the tragedy of the tier ranking. Yeah. Look, I knew you wouldn't like it. Do you like Theory's Vader fan film? It's pretty good. It's very fan filmy, right? But yeah, I'm curious to see where he continues to develop that story. He did a nice job. Clone Wars, the animated series. Boy, this is now this is pod racing. This is Star Wars. This is some of the most peak Star Wars of all Star Wars. It is fantastic. There's bad too, right? It's not all good, but some of the best lore building, some of the best storytelling, some of the best character development for the prequels characters happens in this animated series. Love it. Love the Clone Wars animated series. I've got to put it all the way up here above Phantom Menace, right? Above Phantom Menace. 100%. It's great. Absolutely love it. Even the bad stuff, it's animated. You just let it go. The Droids Walkabout series that George Lucas loves so much. No, don't like it. I don't care for Gascon. That's what I call it, right? I don't like, I don't care for it. But overall, fantastic Star Wars. Can't let that be undersaid. Rebels. You followed the channel, you know. I started watching Rebels, and then I checked out. First few episodes of Rebels, I was like, Space Aladdin doesn't do it for me. What's this kid using the Force? What? No, just no. Not gonna do it. People said, "Oh, Brian, you got to go back and watch it. You gotta give it another chance. You gotta follow through." It's like, I'll force myself. I'll do it. So I started rewatching it. I still hate the first half of season 1. But you know what? Second half of season 1 starts to get good. The end of season 1 is good. Season 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah. I'm checked in, right? Love Rebels. Absolutely love it. Rebels, Clone Wars, both of them just wonderful. And I could switch these either way. Rebels and Clone Wars, both of them, just wonderful, wonderful shows. Great animation. Boy, do you put Clone Wars above Rebels or Rebels above Clone Wars? I can't make up my mind. To me, they're equal. Absolutely equal. Great Star Wars. I got to knock it down because Space Aladdin in season 1. But oof. You know what? Oof. That part's not good. But it gets much better. Much, much better. In fact, a lot of Clone Wars is a 10 out of 10. No question. A lot of it, 10 out of 10. But some of it, not so much. So I'll leave it as a 9. Right now I'm feeling like Rebels is right above Clone Wars, but you know, we'll let that vary depending on the day of the week. Rogue One. This is an interesting Star Wars movie. The first time I watched it, I was like, pretty boring. I mean, where's the Star Wars? There's the bit with Vader at the end. Not a fan of Saw Gerrera whatsoever. Not a fan of him at all. Still to this day. No, don't like him. He's a good character. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like him. Right? Good character. Bad guy. Right? Bad guy that is despicable. But I don't like him. I don't see him as a good guy at all. And I didn't care for the little brain-sucking monster that was in there with him. I didn't care for a lot of it. The hallway scene at the end is fine, but even that it seems a little odd to me because of how A New Hope starts with them chasing the Tantive 4. I know those scenes go straight together, but the interrogation when he meets Leia and like, where are those Death Star plans? I'm like, okay. So Rogue One, I love Sharut. He is probably my favorite character in the entire thing. The Force is with me and I am with the Force. Right? Yeah. Boar Gullet. Yeah, I don't care for that. Don't care for it. Right? So for me, Rogue One, certainly better than Revenge of the Sith. No, I can't say that. It's better than Attack of the Clones for sure. Better than Revenge of the Sith? No, I'll leave it at a 7. In fact, yeah, 7 is about the best I can do. Matt Risman. You know, Matt, I still got that empty bedroom upstairs. You can come here and fight me. That's okay. That's all right. Deploy Rogue One's 10s. No, it's not a 10. It's not. Not a 10 out of 10 at all. No. 7 is the best I can do. 7. And we're getting into Disney era. I was going to stop as we got into Disney era. We have the George Lucas era. 3 10s. Let's do this. Let's bring up the a calculator here. Let me do this. Calculator. And then we got 3 10s. That's 30. plus what we got here? 2 9s, 18, plus an 8, right? Plus 2 6s, that's 12. Plus 2 5s, that's 10 more. Plus 5 more points. Now I know, look, a lot of this isn't George Lucas Star Wars. I know it. I'm just talking during the George Lucas era, right? The total is 83. We divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Divided by 13. 6.38. 6.38 for the George Lucas era of Star Wars. Again, don't shoot me. Just saying, a lot of this isn't George Lucas's content, right? If we take out the stuff that's not really his, right? All this Ewok droids, the holiday special, we take that out. I will say the Ewok movies, these TV specials, has his autograph on them. So don't ignore them entirely. He didn't see them as canon, but he was there. He was there. If you take some of that out, then the score certainly comes up. But I wanted to stop there. All right. So we talked about Rogue One. The Force Awakens. Force Awakens. Where does it fall? Wow. Well, for me, it is almost the perfect reboot of a franchise without rebooting it. I know that it's a retelling of A New Hope in many ways. It has a lot of the same story beats as the original trilogy, but I fell in love with Rey's character. I love this movie. I know that people complain about the end. I know people complain about that battle between Rey and Kylo Ren, and I don't want to get too deep in that, but for me, that entire movie is fantastic. And it's one of the things that reignited my passion over Star Wars. I love it. I love to rewatch it. My wife loves it. It's my wife's maybe favorite Star Wars movie of all the Star Wars movies. I love The Force Awakens. I love it so much. I adore that movie. Is it a 10 out of 10? Almost. For me, Force Awakens, almost a 10 out of 10. Miss it by that much. It is so good. So stinking good. I love The Force Awakens. All right. Last Jedi. Last Jedi, I cheered during much of it. I love the throne room scene. I love that we got the puppet Yoda back. I love the story of it. Not fond of the Leia Poppins. Oof, that one doesn't work for me. Never did. I hate the toss of the lightsaber over his shoulder. Really? Like, really? Like, I get the point he's trying to make, like Luke's trying to make there. But really? Yikes. That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. There's some parts of Last Jedi that I'm like, cringe a little bit. The lightsaber toss, I cringe. The Leia Poppins scene, like, that looks weird. I like what he did, but I don't like how he did it. Like, they could have done. I said, maybe they need to cut that different. Didn't care for it. Last Jedi, I like it better than Phantom Menace. I'll tell you that much. Last Jedi, for all my criticisms, I like it better than the Phantom Menace. So I put it up there as a 9 out of 10. Or I got to boot Phantom Menace down. Like, that's best I can do. I like it better than the Phantom Menace. A lot better. A lot better than the Phantom Menace. In fact, that's what I'll do. I'll just bump Phantom Menace down here. Right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Put The Last Jedi up there is 9 out of 10. Then we get Solo, a Star Wars story. Well, Solo kind of grew on me. At first, I kind of like I didn't care for not seeing Harrison Ford as Han Solo. I don't like you're traveling alone, so you're Han Solo. I didn't like that. That's dumb. But a lot of the rest of it I like. I absolutely hate Lee. Right? Hate Lee. Cheered when she died. That's like, finally, that stupid droid's dead. Hated. But I like the movie. It's a fun movie. I'll go back and rewatch it from time to time. How much do I like it? I like it better than Phantom Menace. Yeah. Still like it better than Phantom Menace. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll stand by it. There it is. Oh my goodness. Rise of Skywalker. Now, Rise of Skywalker upset me with a couple of things. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's parts of Rise of Skywalker that I'm like, Rey should have been left a nobody. I love that she adopted the name Skywalker, but I hate that she's Palpatine. I would have liked for her to have been a clone. One of many, 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 many clones. Thousands and thousands of clones. And for that dark Rey that she met on the wreckage of the Death Star 2, that would have been great if it was an actual, not like a dark cave kind of thing, but an actual sister that used the dark side, and that they had a duel, and she defeated her, like killed Rey, would have killed Dark Rey. That would have been great. We could have had that duel play itself out, followed by another duel with Kylo Ren. The best duel in the sequel trilogy, the duel between Rey and Kylo. The scene with Kylo Ren and having the memory reconnection with his dad, Han, one of the best scenes. Just take that scene out of all scenes across the entire saga. Fantastic. Am I in love with all of it? No, I'm not. No, I'm not in love with all of it. But boy, I like it better than any of the prequel movies. I like it better than any prequel movies. I put it above Solo and Phantom Menace. Rise of Skywalker, 8 out of 10 for me. Right? So now we'll get into Resistance. And on these animated shows, I almost wanted to break them down by season, because Resistance is not a good show. It's not good. I've watched both seasons. Kaz, the guy wearing the green jacket there, not a likable character at all. Some of the things they set up in the first part of season 1 never pay off. It gets much better in season 2. Resistance season 2 is so much better than season 1, but it's not good. It's not good. It's not as bad as some people make it out to be, but boy, it is not good. Resistance, I got to put it down here. Do I like it better than Attack of the Clones? Yes, I do. Oh, much better. You know what? I'm going to put it up there right behind Rogue One. No, I'm not. Sorry. I can't do it. I can't in good conscience do that. I leave it down there as a 6. Resistance, not good. Clone Wars, the final season, season 7. Oh boy. Peak Star Wars. This is a great, great season of Star Wars. Makes you want more of it. Makes you want a lot more of it. Fantastic. Clone Wars Season 7 is right up there. Some of my favorite Star Wars content of all Star Wars content. I am going to put it certainly above The Last Jedi. I put it maybe, I'm going to put it above Rebels. You know what? Fight me. Go ahead. Oh, I'll put it above Rebels. There's a standalone season. Fantastic. Brent says, I find it interesting. You like Resistance better than Attack of the Clones. That's because I don't like Attack of the Clones. I really don't. I don't care for it. But boy, Clone Wars, the final season, peak Star Wars. Absolutely peak Star Wars. Yeah, season 2 of Resistance, Dave at least tried to make it good. Yeah, I got a lot better, but they didn't fix Kaz, and he was still a cringy, terrible character. Bad Batch, I love it. I love the Bad Batch. I think it's a great show. Is it as good as Clone Wars, the final season? Pretty close. Is it better than season 1 of Rebels? Yes, it is. Matt is checked out at this point. He's like, Santa, I can't do it no more. I can't torture myself by watching you with this absurdity. I can't. But it's me. And that's one of the points I want to make is, we all have different opinions. There's things we like, things we dislike. For me, Bad Batch, better than Rebels. Because that season 1 of Rebels is still rough to take. The rest of Rebels, you might talk me into putting Rebels ahead of it if I watch certain parts. Like, I love the Bendu. I love a lot of the content in there. But yeah, I'm going to put it there. Forces of Destiny. Oh, these are shorts. They're almost like old 80s cartoon bad, though. I don't care for them. They're fluff. They're fluff. There's not a lot to take from them. They're short. So that's the best part. Right? Oh, Brent, I'm giving Matt a hard time. Don't take it personally. Matt and I are great friends. We have different opinions of things, and I'm yanking his chain a little bit. We're friends. All right. Forces of Destiny. It's a lot of fluff. There's not a lot of that's just not all that good. Certainly nothing to build on. 4 might be generous. I'll put it as a 3. Almost 80s bad. Like almost Ewoks and droids bad. Don't like it. Visions. Now there's another example of something that's not canon, and they went and put some stuff in it that I hate. Part of Visions is terrible. But you know what? None of it is canon. And a lot of it, the creativity in Visions is fun to watch. It's fun to watch. And part of what we should, I think what we enjoy about Star Wars as a whole is that it's fun. A lot of it is fun. Visions, even though it's not canon, it's fun. And I would put it just above those Clone Wars movies. You know what? No, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put it just below. I'm going to put it just below those Clone Wars movies. No, I take it back. I'm going to put it just above Rogue One. No. Yeah, just above Rogue One. There you go. I'll put it there. Yeah, it's not canon, but they're fun to watch. A lot of creativity in there. Enjoy them. Get down here. Tales of the Jedi. These shorts are great. And I hope that Disney Lucasfilm do a lot more with Tales. Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire. I want Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of the Old Republic, Tales of the New Republic, Tales of the Scoundrels. Anything. I'll take it. Tales of the Jedi. I enjoyed it immensely. I'll put it up here right behind Rise of Skywalker. really good. Really good. I like Tales of the Jedi. In fact, I think I'll put it above Rise of Skywalker. How about that? How about that? Tales of the Jedi, really good. Tales of the Empire. I like where we tie in some of the new Mandoverse. I like Morgan Elsbeth's backstory. There's a lot of this to really enjoy. But so I'll put it right up here with Tales of the Jedi. Those Tales of, I'm a huge fan. I want more. Give me more. More. I need more Tales seasons. In fact, bring it on. Bring it on. Young Jedi Adventures. Now, here's another show that I've watched. I've watched it all the way through. The storytelling of it is actually pretty good. It's a children's show. Really young kids. Like, it's made for really young kids. And the lessons that are in the stories are just, little life lessons for children. The characters are fun. The stories are fun. Not a lot of meat on this on the bone here, right? It's a lot of it is just fluff, right? There's not a lot of content in here. So, Young Jedi Adventures, fun to watch, but no content. I'll put it right behind Rogue One. Not terrible, but yeah. Tales of the Blurgs. Oh, yes, give me Tales of the Blurgs. Brent, Tales of the Pronouns. Hilarious. Oh, hilarious, Brent. That's funny. All right. The Mandalorian. Now, this is another reason I wanted to break this down by season. I was like, should I really break it down by season? Because season 1 of The Mandalorian built a platform. Disney Plus was built on season 1 of The Mandalorian. Fact, right? In what Jon Favreau helped build there has captured the passion of people all around the world, Star Wars fans and non-Star Wars fans alike. Mandalorian season 1, just fantastic. And for a made for TV streaming series, broke new ground. Just tremendous. Absolutely love it. Season 2, mostly good. The end of season 2, amazing. Season 3 feels like a little bit different show, because I think it is. I've talked about this. So, we had the show was kind of built off of Paper Moon. That story played itself out through season 2, and the tag that was put into Book of Boba Fett. Season 3 of The Mandalorian is not the same. So how do you rate it as just one series? Makes it harder, doesn't it? I will still put it very high. Very, very high. I'm going to put it right after Rebels and Clone Wars. I may put it above The Last Jedi. That's where I have it set right now. Would I leave it above The Last Jedi? I don't know. That season 3 is tough, all right? And I enjoyed it. I think season 3 is still good, but I know that a lot of fans didn't. So with season 3 of The Mandalorian, I think I'll put it, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it behind Rebels and Clone Wars, because season 1 of Rebels is so bad and parts of Clone Wars are terrible. So you could say, well, parts of Mandalorian I don't like either. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. For me, I put it right in there. Mandalorian, 9 out of 10. Very good series as a whole. There are issues. It's taken too long between seasons. The connectivity between seasons isn't always strong, but Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett. I was never a huge Boba Fett fan over the years. He was a chump in the original trilogy, in my opinion, right? He gets bumped in the back and falls into a sarlacc, and that's the end of Boba Fett. But they brought him back in The Mandalorian in a very compelling way. I was like, oh, this guy. Okay, I'm interested. The show wasn't what I expected. It wasn't the level of entertainment of The Mandalorian. I loved the part of the Paper Moon story that made its way in, and Din going in and just, decapitating a dude. That's no joke. Like, that was a great episode. But the series as a whole, does it stand up? And where would you put it? Book of Boba Fett. Where do you put it as a whole? I don't know. Like, part of it's so good. Part of it not so much. Do I like it better than Phantom Menace? No. Revenge of the Sith? No. I'll put it above Visions, though. How about that? Book of Boba Fett. Again, I know I have it above Rogue One. Yes, I do. I'll stand by it. Next, Kenobi. Well, I was a bigger fan of Kenobi than most people. Vivian Lyra Blair, just tremendous. Now, some of the scenes that she was in should have been cut differently. But Kenobi, I liked. Did I like the Reva parts? I don't know. Did I hate the Reva parts? No, didn't hate them. The Vader scene in there was really good. And some of the controversy with the Vader and the fire and all of that, I think some of that is misreading the scene. And some of that is maybe not authentic criticism. But the criticisms that are there are because the story didn't lay it out clearly enough. So I'll give a pass on some of that. When the fire, Vader ignited that fire. Vader wasn't afraid of the fire. Vader was simply not taking the opportunity to go pursue Kenobi at that point. And he lets Kenobi go. Well, why? Well, that's a whole different argument. But I'll put Kenobi above Rogue One. I'll put it above, well, I don't know. Do I put it above Boba Fett? Do I put Kenobi above Boba Fett? Yeah, I think I do. I think I put Kenobi above Boba Fett. For me, right? For me. Next, Andor. Oh boy. I loved Andor. I loved it so much. I loved talking about it every week. I loved watching it every week. I'm excited for season 2. I'm very much looking forward to following this series through. Storytelling, just pristine, solid, rock solid. Andor, really good. I mean, I don't know how you do much better than Andor from a storytelling perspective. The Star Wars is in it. All of the things. I give Andor, I put it right up there with Mandalorian. I think it's that good. I love Andor. It's fantastic. Next, Ahsoka. Now, Ahsoka, to me, I enjoyed it. I loved it. There's a lot of it I loved. For me, the Thrawn bits didn't quite work. Some of it just, I wanted to like it more than I like it. I'll put it that way. Feels like I did with the Phantom Menace. I wanted to like it more than I like it. I felt that way with Ahsoka season 1. Very much looking forward to Ahsoka season 2. But the Ahsoka I fell in love with through the Clone Wars animated series and Rebels didn't feel like the same Ahsoka in the series. Just like the Thrawn I fell in love with through all of Timothy Zahn's movies or books, I don't feel like is well represented in Rebels nor in Ahsoka. So it takes a little bit of a hit for me. Do I like it better than Revenge of the Sith or Phantom Menace? Yeah, but boy, just barely. Do I like it better than Solo? No, I've got too many issues with it. So I'll do that. The Acolyte. This is the last one. There's these special editions. The down here, I'm not going to rate those. The Acolyte's the last one, and the Acolyte to me was, and I acknowledge the divisiveness of it. I absolutely acknowledge the divisiveness of the Acolyte. It's got some issues. I hate the ending. I do not like Oshimir whatsoever. That ending could have been redone and made and redeemed a lot of this show. Going back and rewatching the whole thing in one swoop afterwards raised it, in my opinion. I don't think it's the garbage that like Star Wars Meg, my friend Meg, thinks, or many of you as well. I don't think it's that level of garbage. Do I like it better than Attack of the Clones? Yeah, a lot better. Do I like it better than Resistance? Oh yeah, a lot better. Oh my goodness, yes. Do I like it better than Rogue One? Do I like it better than Rogue One? No, I don't. No, I don't. Can't do that. Can't do that. So, all said and done, how do I feel about Disney Star Wars? Well, you can see Santa likes it a lot. I don't have the only Disney Star Wars below a 5 or below a 7 is Resistance and Forces of Destiny. That's it. The rest of it I have as 7 or better. Should Star Wars be better than 7? Yeah, it should. It's not like Ewoks, Caravan of Courage, all that. Right? That's actual George Lucas Star Wars. I've got below 7 for me. Right? For me. Dale says it's buffering. Oh no, buffering for Dale. Yeah. Darth Vader afraid of fire? He had a castle on Mustafar, right? He's not afraid of fire. I think if you're reading that scene as Vader being afraid of fire, you're misreading the scene. But the show also doesn't spell it out for you well enough to not misread it, right? So it doesn't have to be intentional misreading the scene. I think the show doesn't give you enough evidence to not think that. But if you follow Vader and you understand him as a character, you know he's not afraid. So why doesn't he go through the fire, right? You have to work that out differently. So that's what I'll say. So yeah, do I wish Star Wars was always a 9 or a 10 out of 10? Yeah, I do. Do I think Disney is ruining Star Wars or has ruined Star Wars, has misplayed Star Wars? No, I don't think so. Largely, no. Do I have criticisms with all of these things? Once you get down below a 9 or even some of these 9s, no. A lot of these 9s I've got criticisms of. That's why they're not 10s, right? But, and even, we talked about Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks, right? I got some criticisms there, but boy, I still love it. So, there you go. That's me. And you see my average ranking for Disney Star Wars is quite good. I'm a happy Star Wars fan, right? Imperial Activity, a good friend of the show. My ranking of all what Santa did in less than 1/4 of the time he did. I don't. See how easy that was? There you go. See? There you go. we all have different opinions. We all have different tastes and preferences. We all have different things that we're so attracted to, right? I know Imperial. Look, I know this guy. This guy's a great guy, right? He's the kind of fan that I wish more fans were like, right? You tell me the story you want to tell me, and I will watch it, right? Because I love Star Wars. That's our friend Imperial Activity. He loves Star Wars, and he lets the writers tell him the story that they want to tell, and then he takes it for what it is, and that's a great way to look at Star Wars, right? Take it for what it is. I was having a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing this. I know we went kind of long today, but I missed you guys last week. Tomorrow, I've got a photo shoot with my new Santa suit that I just purchased last week, and then next, Cubella Quentin says, "Is that bird real?" Yeah. Hi, Peanut. Here, step up. No, here, step up. Step up. Come say hi. People want to say hi to you. See, there's Peanut. Peanut's my African gray, and she's got a genetic mutation of a red factor that gives her some pink on some of her wings. But she's fantastic. Huh. Hello.
Hello.
There you go. You got a hello from Peanut. All right, there you go. You can step back. You guys all got a hello from Peanut. Yeah. And she was giving some pew pews earlier in the show. Yeah, she's getting some blaster fire behind me here. I had to watch out. So you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully we'll see you again next week, and we'll talk more Star Wars. Maybe I'll get some of my friends to join me, and we'll see what the news does. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. We have a holiday here this coming Monday in the United States. It's not observed by everybody, but we'll be there. We have a Mike Porter dad joke. Thank you, Star Wars Fits. We have a Mike Porter dad joke, and it goes really well with these rankings. I think the timing of it's quite good. He said, "What's the name of the smuggler that just doesn't want to help at all?" And I messaged Mike back and I said, "It reminds me of the Veggie Tales, the pirates that don't do anything." Right? Think of the smuggler that doesn't want to help at all. What's his name? Well, he's Han No Go. Oh, there's that dad joke for you. Thank you for that, Mike Porter. We love you, my friend. I hope you all have a great day. Have a fantastic weekend. Come follow us on Discord, and if you are of the mind, come follow us on Patreon as well. And at that, we'll let you all go. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've had a great time today. And until next time, my friends, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.